Okay, today's talk is going to be an introduction out of Chapter 3. Chapter 3, of course, is the basics of networking. And what I'd like to talk about today is some of the characteristics and more of the life changes that have happened as a result of network computers. So single computers have always been useful, but connected ones are even more useful. And the characteristics I want to present are, number one, no longer is nowhere remote. Number two, people are interconnected. Number three, social relationships are changing. And number four, freedom of speech and assembly have changed. And in some people's minds, they're greatly expanded. All right, so let's talk a little bit about nowhere is remote. So the internet is a complete information resource no matter where you are. One of the significant differences right now is that we all have mobile devices of some kind. They might be a smartphone, it might be a laptop computer, they might be a tablet. We have all these great new devices anymore. We're always plugged in. We're always connected. What that's done, if you think about our social scenario, is that homes are no longer disconnected from our work. Or maybe in the case of this class, the classroom is now totally coming right to your living room with this online class. So homes are not remote from work anymore. They're connected. And homes are no longer remote from the classroom either. Wherever you are today, listen to this lecture, you're participating in a class, and you could be anywhere in the world, or you could be sitting at your dorm room on campus or at home. Another characteristic, people are more interconnected than ever before. We have this nice tool out there called Facebook, and I think family and friends stay closer, more connected. Maybe olden days we used to send like a regular letter. When was the last time you got a letter from a friend? It doesn't happen very often anymore. And so we're more interconnected because we can send an immediate email, we can send an immediate text. Okay, you can send that across the internet as well. And it changes our relationships too. It's very common to meet people passively through common interests. And so we can find that associations can potentially form more rapidly. So we're sitting in this classroom, or you're sitting in this classroom with approximately 19 other students, and they might be all over the world. And they might be people you wouldn't normally connect with, but you're connecting because you're associated with Computer Science 105. Social interactions are changing. All right, time spent online has actually displaces a lot of the other time. You know, one of the interesting social phenomena I see sometimes, if I get on a bus between campuses, I will see that there'll be people sitting right next to each other, or even waiting for a class to get out and a new one to come in, and they're not talking to each other, but they're communicating with others. And they might be communicating through email, they might be communicating by text, by their smartphones. But they're changing. Social interactions are different. So we don't have these blocks of times where we're sitting disconnected from the rest of the world and we have to talk to the person next to us. So it might be really good, might not be so good, but just recognize it's changing. It's network computers that are doing this. All right, freedom of speech and assembly have expanded. So internet use to some degree is unmediated. Now, some people might disagree with that statement. There's all sorts of ways that it can be mediated, but for the most part, there's no editorial oversight, or there's really, in this country, there's really no significant restrictions. We can say whatever we want on the internet. And you know what? I can, as an individual, as a citizen here, I can publish to the rest of the world. In other words, I have never in history had this ability to reach so many people by simply publishing a web page or writing something out on a wiki. It's a different time that way. So if I want to write my own blog, when I hit publish on that, it goes to anybody in the world. And if I have political views I want to talk about some other artistic expression, I can do that via my blog. The other thing is that assembly has expanded because people now can assemble independent of geographic regions. So I can get together with folks that have a common interest, even though we might be spread out all over the state, all over the country, or all over the world. Okay? So those are important characteristics. network computers have significantly changed our world.